Welcome to the EKG Guy. If this is your first time, I'm glad you're joining us, and welcome back if you're returning. So we've been going through our EKG coding reference guide that we've now made available online. And where we are is in the ventricular rhythms section, okay? And today we're going to look at ventricular escape beats or ventricular escape complexes, okay? And that's under this rhythms section, part 2. We've gone through the general features, the P-wave abnormalities, where we looked at different atrial enlargement, normal EKGs. We went through sinus rhythms in part 2, atrial rhythms, atrial fibrillation, atrial flutter. We discussed Ashman phenomenon. So we've done a number of things. Now we've gone through the AV junctional. Now we're at the ventricular, okay? And now if you don't have access and you're new, so what you want to do is go to this link here, put in your search bar, enter your email, click submit. You'll have to enter your email, confirm it by a link that you'll get to your email, and then you'll get access to here, okay? You'll come to this, you'll click this drop-down menu, and you'll get to where we are here, okay? And it's going to be constantly updated, so if there's changes, there's going to be new videos, new examples added, but something to keep in mind, and you can access this pretty much anywhere. If you're returning, you could do the same thing, but bypass this whole thing, and then just get right to the guide. All right, so let's get started. So ventricular escape complex, or escape beat. You may hear them either way. What is going on here? Well, similar to a junctional escape beat, we have these safety nets in our heart, okay, in the conduction system, just like elsewhere in the body. And what happens is when an area above it doesn't function very well, there's areas that can take over pacemaking function. So that's the right atrium, the left atrium, right ventricle, and left ventricle, okay? In our conduction system, we have our sinus node up here, so this is the sinus node. We have our AV node here, okay? Notice still in our right atrium. We have the His bundle, the right bundle branch that comes to the right side of the heart, the left bundle branch, and then you have a left anterior and posterior fascicles. And this is how the conduction spreads through the heart from sinus node and down through, okay? So atria and then to the ventricles. So what's happening here is that we're saying that there's an escape complex originating from somewhere in the ventricles. Let's say it's there, okay? And why is that happening? Well, if you look at this rhythm here in this example, it seems like there may be some underlying sinus rhythm, okay? And why do we say that? Well, we see these upright P waves in lead 2, okay? Not much you can see in AVR because there's nothing there. It seems like some upright P waves here, okay, that are almost buried in that T wave, and you can't really see anything in AVF. Maybe upright here. Okay, so this is likely an underlying sinus rhythm going on, but there's a lot more going on here than we're gonna say. All right, so sinus rhythm is present, and then there's this gap, right? Everything just stops for some period of time. All right, and you can imagine the sinus node is either there's an escape beat, or maybe it's just not functioning well, it just stops functioning. Maybe we're suppressing it with medications, or the patient is just older and has degenerative disease of the conduction pathway. So maybe the sinus node isn't working, and the AV node is also not working, okay? So somewhere in the ventricles then takes over pacemaking function, and eventually, say it's this area, this beat conducts, and you have this slow cell-to-cell depolarization across. Maybe it actually gets into one of the conduction systems and has some retrograde conduction, but that's pretty much what's going on here. And it's almost like a PVC, but the difference between a PVC and a ventricular escape beat or complex is that the PVC, just as the P, which stands for premature ventricular complex, comes early. This comes later, okay? Just like our premature junctional complexes versus our junctional escape beats, okay? So that's the difference. They tend to have a similar morphology, okay? So both have that similar morphology. It obviously depends on where in the heart it's coming from, or in the ventricles, and those are the main things. So remember that there's also this pacemaking intrinsic rate of each area in the heart, all right? So if you can imagine, the sinus node in adults tends to be between 60 and 100 beats per minute. And then this AV junctional region is between 40 and 60. and then down here in the ventricles 20 to 40. Okay, so meaning that typically if the sinus node is conducting in normal sinus rhythm, the rate should be between 60 and 100. Now imagine the sinus node is not working, and the AV node then tries to take over. But there's no beat, okay? You can still see there's no beat here. And so then the AV node tries to go around that rate between 40 and 60, and nothing then kicks in. And then so finally somewhere in the ventricles takes over pacemaking function. And how do we determine that that's the amount of time between 20 and 40? Well, you can kind of estimate. There's only one complex here, okay? So remember, these are all happening at the same time because everything along this line is at the same time, because from beginning to end is how we have this. So left to right is our time domain, where you start from 0 seconds and you get to 10 seconds on this. So you can imagine this is maybe occurring around 4 seconds on our standard 12 lead EKG. So everything, all these complexes are the same, and we use the 12 lead because it gives us the three-dimensional view to get an idea of more than just a single lead. That's why we tend to not just use the rhythm strips, because there's not a whole lot. Sometimes you can get the rhythm, but even then it's better to have everything so you can make a good analysis. Okay, so we were talking about the rate. So from this beat until this beat. Let's just erase some of this here. So we're saying from this to this. Can we count the number of thick lines between them just to get an estimate? Let's assume this is a regular rhythm here, okay? So there's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then maybe 9. Okay, and if you were to do 300 over 9, you'd get somewhere between 30 and 40, probably around 33 or so. Okay, and that 33 fits in this range 20 to 40. All right, and then you have another beat that's maybe coming after it. Okay, and actually that may actually be a junctional escape beat. And why do I say that? Well, notice that it has similar morphology to those beats that follow, whereas this ventricular complex has this different morphology. Okay, wide QRS complex, so both of them have wide QRS, these premature and the escape beats. So the difference though between the PVC is that earlier beat and the ventricular escape is later. Okay, it's pretty much escaping to help maintain pacemaking function of the heart. So let's look at what we say here. So it could, these escape complexes, okay, if it's a rhythm, it could be a rhythm. We tend to think if there's at least 3 of these present, okay? We don't have that here. But if there is a rhythm, it tends to be regular or mildly irregular with a rate between 20 and 40 beats per minute. Okay, the other thing is we said they're wide complexes because it's originating from within the ventricles, and you have that slow cell-to-cell depolarization outside of the normal conduction system where we have gap junctions where the impulse could travel a lot faster. It has a morphology we said similar to the premature ventricular complexes, obviously depending on where it comes from. Again, wide complexes, and it's occurring later, and similar morphology. So these are the key things, okay, that I want you to take away from this lecture, all right, is being able to differentiate PVCs and ventricular escape beats, okay, as well as those from a junctional escape beat, okay. So the PVCs occurring earlier, ventricular escape beat occurring later. That's the main thing. When you compare it to a junctional escape beat, look at the rate. The rate of a junctional escape beat tends to be a little sooner, so maybe that beat would come somewhere here, and it may have a similar morphology as that underlying rhythm because it typically uses that conduction system. All right. So again, just to refresh, wide QRS complex, similar morphology as the PVC, occurring later though than the PVC. All right, and that is a ventricular escape beat. When we see at least 3 of them, we tend to call it a ventricular escape rhythm. Well, that's the end of this lecture. I hope you learned something. Now, just to keep you in mind of our course material that we have available, so again, if you go to our website, www.ekg.md, okay, so this is our website, and what you'll notice is that if you go to the EKG course here, okay, you'll find stuff that's separate. So notice that we have a number of topics, practice material, lectures, a way for you to contribute, and this is the course here over here. So you'll notice we have over 300 videos or so, and that's more on YouTube. There's another 100, more than 100, about 200 videos that are available with the course. So those are separate videos, and this course is really designed to take you from a beginner to advanced interpreter. Okay, so completely separate from what you're getting online for free. Okay, these are course material that comes with it. So notice that you have a book. Okay, and then you also have the pocket guide available, so you can choose which format. They are the same thing, both these book and the pocket guide, different formats. I really like this small one because you can keep it in your white coat if you're in the clinic, or in your pocket, and it's really available on the go. Now with the book, you also get videos. So notice these are the videos, okay? And these are a video for every single page in that book. So it's over 30 hours of video. Now there's a number of practice material that I continue to upload there. Okay, we'll have practice questions coming soon. So all of that's available. Again, this is separate from all the free material that you get already. Okay, so this is more high yield stuff. This is what we used to teach our technicians here and our students here at Mayo Clinic. And it's used now among many institutions. So check that out. Now, what it also includes are calipers. So yes, you get calipers with this course. Okay, I don't know anyone else that offers that, but you do get calipers. I think they're very helpful, and they can, if you know how to use them correctly, can help to identify different arrhythmias that are going on. Okay, and then you also get our pocket Ekg reference. Okay, this was something we've put together as we were developing course for the fellows, and this is really nice. It has every code, as you saw earlier, laid out there. Very small pocket guide available. I had help with my colleague, Dr. Peter Noseworthy, who's the head of the EKG lab here at Mayo Clinic, in editing it. So this is something that we use, and we found very helpful. So go to the EKG course. You'll see examples of lectures, okay, why we developed this, okay. A lot of it came about from myself struggling with learning EKGs, having a father that was an interventional cardiologist, and, still struggling. So my struggle is a struggle that I don't want you to have in learning them, okay. You can read all those introductory books, but honestly, they are not enough, okay, and you find yourself using other resources, which is part of the learning process. I wanted to expedite that process for you and make it less inefficient in pretty much what I struggled with going and learning through EKG. So again, from beginner to advanced level with this course, you get the book, the calipers, the coding reference, video access, okay, and now we're offering 25% off. 25% off. Put that code in on checkout, and you'll have yourself 25% off. That will it's pretty much covers the cost of what we use to print the material. So we don't really make much off it. It's more to help our learners grow and really be able to contribute to patient care. That's why we do this, and we love doing it. So thank you so much for your support. If you have any questions, just leave them below, and we're happy to answer them. All right, have a great day.